Alright, welcome to lesson 2. In this lesson, we shall be talking about man's obligation to God in the discharge of his dominion. Please understand that man is not expected to dominate the earth or to manage the earth in isolation. To be a successful ruler, he must fulfill some obligations to God. Whenever any man fails in these obligations, he or she is most likely to fail in the discharge of his dominion. So, here are the obligations that I have found in the Bible that man has to God in the discharge of his dominion. Number 1 is fellowship. It was recorded in Genesis chapter 3 and verse 8 of a regular visitation by God to Adam in the garden. God cared for the man he created, and as such made himself available to man so that he could succeed. Man cannot succeed outside fellowship with God. God is the source, that is the father of mankind, and as such, man must be connected in fellowship with him. It is in fellowship with God that we receive strength and instruction for success. So this is a major form of obligation that man has to God for man to be successful. Please understand that it was sin that made Adam to avoid God's presence. And the same thing is still applicable today. Today many people still run from God because of their sin. But God is always merciful, and just like he called out to Adam, he is still calling out to as many as we hear his voice and repent. Number 2 is the fear of God and obedience to his command. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 13 gave us the duty of man to God, which is to fear him and obey his commands. Adam lost his dominion in the garden because of disobedience. God takes obedience very seriously. In 1 Samuel chapter 15 verse 22, Samuel told King Saul that to obey God is better than sacrifice. It cannot be equated with whatever you might want to offer outside obedience. God did not create man to be an outlaw. Despite the dominion he has, despite being the manager of everything God created, God did not create man to be an outlaw. He must discharge his authority in reverence, that is, in fear to God, and in absolute obedience. And number 3 is to love. In Matthew chapter 12, verse 30 to 31, Jesus gave us the greatest of all commandments, which is to love God and to love your neighbor as yourself. Listen, everything God does is initiated out of love. And if man will succeed, he must obey this obligation to love. He must be able to fulfill this obligation to love to God. Love is not optional. It is the way to success. Therefore, no man can dominate or rule successfully without fulfilling this obligation. This is where many people have been failing. Man has created more chaos in the earth because they have failed in this threefold obligation. But as for you, it is time to renew your commitment to them and experience true dominion. In the next lesson, I will be showing you the uniqueness of creation and why God made it so. Let's go there.